Let's talk about our quarterback strategies. And Dave, I'll give you the first word. How are you seeing the quarterback position now? And has anything changed since we did our preview on about 3 weeks ago, actually?
Nope. Still looking to get a value at the quarterback position. That doesn't mean I'm trying to get a steal at the quarterback position. I just want to feel like I'm getting good value on any quarterback at any point in the draft. Certainly not going to reach for one. Definitely think it's a reach if you take any quarterback in round 1 or round 2 in a 1 QB league. And as long as I'm doing that, as long as I feel like it's a safe value, and maybe even to take it a step further, there isn't a running back I really like, there isn't a receiver I really like, there isn't a tight end I really like, maybe that's when you make that pivot to quarterback. There's a guy there that you like, you take him, you move on.
Heath, how about you? Quarterback? And by the way, did you want to update us on where those wide receivers were going in your FFT Open League?
We've moved on. I mean, I think Dave pretty well said it. We're not taking quarterback in the first 2 rounds. I've moved since our quarterback preview. I've moved the top 3 up a few spots because some of the guys I was taking ahead of them I don't feel as good about. So they went from the back end of round 3 to the middle of round 3, and that's Jackson, Allen, and Daniels. And the other thing is, I think one reason to maybe move those guys up is if you pass on one of those 3 in round 3, you cannot count on Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts making it back to you in round 4, because Burrow goes at the 3-4 turn often, and Hurts usually goes shortly after Burrow does or ahead of Burrow. So if you pass on one of the elite quarterbacks in round 3, you may be passing on the top 5 quarterbacks.
Which we're fine, which is certainly not anything to be afraid of. But yeah, if you go into a draft thinking I want a top 5 quarterback, just be aware of what Heath said. But where do you guys value Joe Burrow in a 4-point per passing touchdown league?
As the 5th QB, but still top 5.
Yep.
But top 5 is closer to the top 4 or closer to number 6 Mahomes?
Closer to the top 4.
I think another thing that makes a difference is a lot of leagues that are 4 points per pass touchdown league give you a little bit more for passing yardage. It's that 0.05 or 0.04 for passing yardage. And so if you get maybe a little boost for the passing yardage, then maybe it's still okay. But I probably right in the middle of the top 4 in the other group.
Okay. Where do you guys want to take Mahomes? ADP has him kind of around 50th on CBS and on Fantasy Pros. NFC ADP, he's 76, but quarterbacks are just going later in this NFC ADP. But where's the sweet spot for Mahomes, Jamie?
Round 6, the earliest.
6-7 turn.
I'll be the high guy. 5-6 turn.
Okay. Sleepers, breakouts, busts. You know what? Actually, before we do that, one of the trends I'm seeing is that Justin Fields has been a faller. When we first did our position preview, Justin Fields was, I think, QB 10, and he was ahead of Jared Goff and Brock Purdy, and they've moved ahead of him. So he's more like QB 13 now in ADP. And the way ADP sets up, it looks like this. You've got your group of 5 at the top. You've got Jackson, Allen, Daniels, Hurts, Burrow in some order. Then you've got a group of 3. Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Bo Nix. And then you've got a group of 4. Kyler, Goff, Purdy, Fields. And then after that, Dak. Dak should maybe be in that group. Maybe it's a group of 5. Yes, it is. Kyler, Dak, Goff, Purdy, Fields.
Good.
In some order. So that's 13 quarterbacks. Sorry, I forgot Dak Prescott. You're absolutely right. That's kind of how it looks. If I said that, you've got one tier of 5. Next tier of 3, Mahomes, Mayfield, Nix. Next tier of 5, Kyler, Dak, Goff, Purdy, Fields. Heath, which tier do you have? One that you are drafting a lot of or are drafting almost none of? What do you think?
Yeah, I like some of the guys in the 3rd tier better than the 2nd tier, so I don't generally draft in the 2nd tier.
I almost feel like quarterback and tight end are a very similar strategy, great or late. Mahomes, I don't like his ADP. I think Heath and Dave are probably, at least previously, anti-Baker ADP.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix, is sort of in a questionable spot. Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, like I don't feel like I want to take them at those values. I'd almost rather wait for, if you're looking at the YouTube page, kind of where that line break is, for I'm not taking Jared Goff there, but the guys going after Jared Goff, like that's almost the range I prefer to take my quarterbacks.
So that's around QB 13, 12 or 13. So that's Purdy, Fields, Herbert, Love, Caleb. And you don't see Drake May on here. And I would say we are higher on Drake May, except for Heath. Heath, where do you have May?
18 or 19.
That's basically where his ADP is. Whereas Dave and Jamie have Drake May as a borderline top 12 guy.
There's no order about it.
Oh, you put him in your top 12?
He's in.
Okay,
Yeah,
but he's
moved him out of Justin Fields earlier this week.
The Fields thing is interesting to me because it's like, I know he's having a bad preseason, but don't we know who he is after 4 years of his career?
I think Fields, people that are panicked about Fields are going to regret it when he has one of those games. And how many of those games? Again, I'll go back to last year. The first 2 games, we were saying Fields may get you off to a good start. All the things that we're kind of, saying this year. And the first 2 games were sort of frustrating. And then the last 4 were amazing.
Yeah. He's going to be an up and down quarterback. I sort of get it if you feel like Purdy and Goff, Dak are just going to be more consistent than him. And obviously this is 6-point per passing touchdown league, but even in the 4-point ADP, Fields has been a faller. But Heath, let's talk about just how deep this position is. And what do you do when you look at all these? There's so many great quarterbacks that I want to take a chance on Caleb Williams and Drake May and Trevor Lawrence, these breakouts. And then you have guys like Tua, and CJ Stroud is going a little bit higher than he's at like QB 15. I don't really get that, but maybe Jordan Love can bounce back. Anyway, there's so many appealing options. How do you approach that?
Well, you can just know that probably half of those appealing options you just mentioned are going to be on the waiver wire in your league. So you don't have to reach for the other half because there's not much difference between them. And so I think I want to draft the high upside guys, like, in my opinion, Justin Fields, Caleb Williams. I'm probably moving Kyler Murray up just a little bit. But those types of guys, and then you can pair them with one of the Jordan Loves or Jared Goffs or whoever happens to. Brock Purdy sometimes falls, like whichever one of those guys falls. But it's the whole reason I don't really think that depth impacts tier 1 at all, because those guys are in a different stratosphere from the top 5 quarterbacks, and especially the top 3 from this depth we're talking about. But I don't really think that the Baker Mayfield group, and I know he was last year, they're not that much different in my projections. So that's why we don't want to take them in round 6 or 7, because you can find somebody very similar in round 11 or 12, or maybe on the waiver wire.
Okay. All right, let's get one sleeper from everybody. Just one name. Go ahead, Jamie, Dave, Heath.
I'll go with Trevor Lawrence as sleeper.
Too obvious to go with Drake May?
No. Heath?
Okay, I'll go with JJ McCarthy then.
Okay.
I don't know how somebody can be a post-type sleeper before they play the first game of their second season, but I think Caleb Williams is. So I'll go with Caleb Williams.
Breakout, Jamie, Dave, Heath.
Drake May.
I think Bo Nix can be a little bit better season long than he was last year.
Justin Fields.
Bust.
Justin Fields.
Mahomes.
I shouldn't get into a frustrating argument about whether a round 10 pick can be a bust, but I'll go with, nobody said it yet, so I'll say Lamar Jackson. He's going 16th overall on CBS ADP.
He's going 16th overall on CBS. He's going about, let's say, 2-3 turnish on other sites. How do you feel that you still bust call there?
I wouldn't draft him or Josh Allen in round 2.